With the glimpse of the ballpark, the spirit of optimism and renewal so tied to baseball's opening day fills the soul. It's a day of feeling unique to our national pastime. The optimism leading into the season is as strong as recent memory can provide, fueled by a team who grabbed our attention last year and is on the verge of capturing the imagination of fans longing for a champion. From Michael Young and Josh Hamilton to Scott Feldman and Frankie Francisco, the message is this: it's time. Time to win. Time to go after the West Division title and beyond. It's time for opening day for the 2010 Texas Rangers. So much to take in on opening day, so many faces that are so familiar. And we have gray skies in Arlington today, but there are blue skies in the heart of every die-hard Ranger fan. Could this be the year? So much optimism. Greeting opening day 2010, the 39th season of Texas Ranger baseball. This afternoon, game one of the year. Rangers against the Toronto Blue Jays in front of a sold-out Rangers ballpark in Arlington. And we welcome you to another season of Texas Ranger baseball. This is opening day. Along with Tom Grieve, I'm Josh Lewin, and it is great to have you with us here for all the pomp and circumstance, the color, the pageantry, and Scott Feldman on the mound today. But first things first, let's talk about Michael Young, a guy that really deserves to be in the postseason at some point.
Well, you know, you talk to Michael Young, and he'll say every year that he's been a Ranger, he expected on opening day that the team would be a winner. I think if you look at it realistically, the rest of us would have said some of those years we hoped that we could be a contender. And I think when you look at the start of this season, there's not the hope, there's the feeling that this will be a season where the Rangers are a contender. It's a season where the Rangers as an organization have said they'll be disappointed if they're not a contender. And I think that's the way you have to enter this season based on the talent that the Rangers have. They should be a contender this year.
87 wins a year ago. If they can scoop that up just a little bit, it could be a glorious time to be a Texas Ranger fan long about the middle of October. It all comes down to pitching, right? Scott Feldman, 17-game winner last year, gets the ball today. The very first pitch of 2010 is right after this. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Check. Little, let's see, 1, 2. Still a little less bass, I get. No, it's good. I got it. Thanks, man. Check. Hang on 1 sec. Arlington native Vernon Wells, and Overbay and Buck, Encarnacion and Gonzalez. Travis Snider rounds it out. Toronto lost 87 games a year ago. The Rangers won 87 games a year ago. Not a lot of expectations up north of the border, Tag, but plenty of them here in Arlington as we scout Scott Feldman.
Well, for the Rangers to have a big season, they need another big season from Scott Feldman. Last year at this time, he was in the bullpen. 1 year later, he's starting on opening day, and that's after winning 17 games. He was the Ranger Pitcher of the Year. He was consistent, pitched past the sixth inning in the majority of his ball games, and really gave the Rangers exactly and more than what they expected from him starting the season last year.
And we lift the lid with strike one, called by Jerry Davis. Veteran umpire had home plate in Game 1 of the World Series last year. And we should point out right off the jump here, Taggy is known for having a tight zone, does not call a lot of strikes. Of course, when Scott Feldman is on, he's getting a lot of called strikes. Right here, he gets a towering pop-up. And appropriately, it's Michael Young to handle the first one of the year. He's got it. What else will Michael Young have by the end of the season is what we're all curious about. Again, the optimism on parade here today. Hamilton's in left this year, Bourbone's in center, Cruz in right. Young and Andrews, Blanco in for the injured Kinsler, Chris Davis at first, Jared Saltalamacchia gets the opening day start behind the plate. And a very windy afternoon at the ballpark, gusting winds of up to 26 miles an hour. And it never did get to the mid-80s as we were promised today. It's 79 right now. A little bit humid. Grounder this time, Elvis Andrews. 2 up, 2 down. The lights are on at the ballpark because of these dark gray skies. There's no rain in the forecast, but we do have gray to deal with today. And again, those swirling winds. We've always said this ballpark, which is so beautiful anyway, looks its level best when it's got no empty seats in it. And that will be the case today. It is an absolute sellout. All the standing room seats, if there is such a thing, those have been sold as well. Adam Lind had the quietest, great season maybe of anybody in baseball last year. Did a lot of damage against the Rangers. 6 homers, 18 runs batted in against the Rangers in 09. The best numbers of any opponent. And that's in only 9 games. Remember, the Rangers play teams like Oakland, Seattle, and the Angels 19 times. None of their players had the year that Adam Lind did.
Yeah, you would expect throughout baseball there weren't many 2 and 3 combinations that hit 71 home runs and knocked in 222 runs.
Scott Feldman at this time last year was the mop-up man in the bullpen for the Rangers. The year before that, he was in the rotation at Double-A. That ball punched beyond a diving Blanco into right field. First hit of the year goes to Adam Lind.
That looked like a cutter from Scott that was a little bit high and not quite as far in as he'd like to get it to a good hitter. And so you can sometimes make good pitches to a good hitter. That one got a lot of the plate, a little bit up in the strike zone, and Lind had a pretty good swing at it, hit it pretty hard, but hit it on the ground for a little single.
And again, Blanco will be seeing a lot of at second base for this first homestand. Ian Kinsler's eligible to come off the DL April 10th, but I would say realistically, Tag, since he hasn't even taken batting practice yet, it's going to be a little after that.
Yeah, I would say, well, I don't even want to guess because you just never know. But once he's ready to go 100%, it's still going to take 4 or 5 days of games before he's going to be ready to play in a big league game, you'd have to think.
There's strike one to Vernon Wells.
I think the reality of it is, Josh, if you talk to Ian, if you talk to the doctors, there's really no way of knowing. It's just when Mother Nature feels that high ankle sprain, and you really just don't know.
Vernon Wells launching to left field. Josh Hamilton in pursuit. And Vernon Wells, the Arlington native, makes it 2-0 Toronto. He has a history of very strong first weeks of the season. He's been doing that his entire big league career. And needing a big season, these Toronto Blue Jays are from Vernon Wells in 2010. His first AB, he delivers.
Yeah, I think for the Blue Jays to have a big season, that's exactly what you're looking for. If Hill and Lind have big seasons and Vernon can return to what he has been, then that speaks pretty well for their offense. And that was not a bad pitch. It might not have been a perfect pitch, but that ball was down. It was low on the outside corner. And you just have to give the hitter a lot of credit for that one.
Vernon Wells has just tied George Bell as the all-time leader in Toronto franchise history for home runs by an outfielder. And as we start the day, Tag, talking about Michael Young, it's his best friend in baseball, Vernon Wells, who actually grabs the spotlight first. Feldman in with a strike to Lyle Overbay.
Curveball came back over the plate, kept it down right where you want it.
Oh, he powers the fastball behind Overbay.
Good look at the cutter. Looked like a strike when Overbay swung at it. Ended up a little bit inside.
Oh, we talked right off the top about how you got to earn your strikes with Jerry Davis. That one was borderline, a little outside. And Jerry Davis, or excuse me, inside. Jerry Davis is going to make you earn it.
That's the exact same pitch he swung and missed at. He took it that time.
Taking that one, too. The 27-year-old Scott Feldman, 30th round draft pick, now a multi-millionaire, just signed that new deal a couple days ago. And getting the opening day assignment. Ground ball, there's Blanco. And a rare miscue. That's a guy that's known for his defense. The ball got on him in a hurry. And the reason he's on this team is because he catches everything. But that ball ate him up.
He's probably played more shortstop than he has second base. I'm not sure exactly what he did. He lifts his glove up before the ball gets there. Pretty routine play that he'll make almost every time, but just not that time.
Lou Piniella kept plugging him in that Cubs lineup last year, knowing that if he hit it all, it was a bonus. He just wanted him for the glove. John Buck will be the 6th hitter of the inning. This is a guy the Rangers kicked the tires on this offseason. They obviously did not sign him. Toronto did. We heard a lot all winter, Tag, about the Rangers maybe adding a veteran catcher, but here we are at opening day. It's going to be the double duo going of Teagarden and Saltalamacchia.
Yeah, and if they both stay healthy and they both continue to develop, then the Ranger catching will be in good hands.
Blanco gets his shot at redemption right here and nails it. And Feldman is out of the inning. The Rangers will go to work with Julio Borbon and Michael Young when we come back on opening day. John surgery. Didn't pitch all year last year. The Southwest Airlines starting lineup with Borbone and Michael Young. Hamilton and the new guy, you know him, you love him now, Vlad Guerrero. Nelly Cruz and Chris Davis, Salta Lamacchia, and then the Venezuelan double play combination of Blanco and Andrews. And we will scout out Sean Markham while we have a chance, Kansas City native.
Well, he missed all of last season. He had elbow surgery. In his big league career, his brief big league career, he's been pretty good. Winning record, ERA under 4. Opponent's batting average very solid at .244. You go back a couple of years ago in 2008 and 25 starts, he was 9-7 with a .339 ERA. So this is a good young pitcher, sidetracked by his injury last year, but evidently back to the point where he's an opening day starter for this year.
Like Scott Feldman, only 24 career wins, meaning he too is a highly unlikely opening day starter. He does feature a good change. I was looking at the 1992 opening day lineups. Tag was Nolan Ryan against Lee Johnson. That's 324 wins against 303. Today we got 24 wins against 24. Borbone pokes it foul. And a short sample last year, obviously, but Julio had an on-base percentage up near 380. The Rangers would be just thrilled to have that in a full season. Because you know if he gets on, he's running for Ron Washington. And this is something he showed all spring training. He is ready and willing and able to do. That's work the count. Markham changing speeds, and he does strike out Borbone.
It's definitely a strikeout pitch. He has a solid fastball, but that's his best pitch right there. There's several of them for Julio. You see it sink at the end. Puts the ball away. Very little in the strike zone, but that's a tough pitch to lay off of, even though it wasn't a strike.
Now the man who thought he would be a Toronto Blue Jays someday, Michael Young, of course, was dealt over in the ill-fated Esteban Loaiza deal in July of the year 2000. I think the Rangers thought, Tag, that they were getting maybe like a young Mark Loretta, a versatile gamer who could have a nice little career as a utility guy, but what they actually got was the all-star face of the franchise.
Well, you know that Toronto had no idea that that's what they were trading. Otherwise, he never would have been available in that kind of a trade. And the way that Toronto has searched for a shortstop over the years, they had something they just didn't know about.
And he's blossomed right under the eyes and the noses of Ranger fans, and they have been all over that. Once again, the change of pace. Been a pretty good pitch so far. The count 2-2.
And that's what makes it such a good pitch. He can throw it when he's behind in the count. That's a fastball count, and he's able to come in with that changeup. That's an equalizer, even to big league hitters, when you're able to do that with such a good pitch.
Young ready for that one, and belts it into center to his buddy Vernon Wells, 2 down.
Well, Wells had him well played. Moved over in right center. Ball seems to be carrying pretty well today. He's definitely carrying in batting practice. In fact, the fans that got here early for the Ranger batting practice had quite a treat. Vlad Guerrero hit one several rows back in the second deck above the restaurant. And Josh hit a ball that I think is the closest one has ever come to going on the roof in right field. It was sky high and came down about halfway up in the bleachers in the upper deck in right field. And must have missed the roof by only a couple of feet.
Hamilton takes off speed on the outside corner. Yeah, the Rangers were collectively putting on a show for the big crowd today. Now they got to see if that batting practice can carry over.
Yeah, the thing is, you don't get to face this kind of a changeup in batting practice.
Hamilton smokes this one into the big crowd. And first nice catch of the year from a fan. Boy, they were tailgating all over the place around here today. There was the concert out on the north lawn by Cowboy Mouth a couple hours ago. People were out there jamming at that. It's just been a great vibe out here today. Hamilton down on strikes, and again, that changeup looks like it's going to be something to have to go to school on this afternoon. The Rangers trail 2-0 at the end of 1. Had the lead as we welcome the third member of our broadcast team, Mr. Jim Knox.
All right, thank you, Josh. Good to be back, Josh and Tom. Ranger fans having a good time. We found him, Jim Sumberg, Ranger great, here to talk about Community Corner on Fox Sports Southwest, and the Rangers are to honor those who make a difference in the community. Right?
Yeah, thank you, Jim. It's the second year that we've teamed up with Fox, and it's something we do each year that is to help kids that are in need. And supply.
We'll try to get back to Jim and Jim in a moment. Obviously, some opening day gremlins in the microphone. We'll watch Scott Feldman pitch to Edwin Encarnacion. He's going to blast off towards center field, but Bourbon fading back. There was an Encarnacion that hit the very first pitch of the season out of this ballpark not too long ago. That was Juan Encarnacion for the Tigers, served up by Rick Helling about 10 years ago.
I don't remember that home run, but I remember when he ran into the wall in right field. He didn't play that little jut where it juts out near the bullpen. He ran into that thing full speed. I don't know how it didn't knock him out.
Yeah, kind of embedded himself into that wall out there. Here's Alex Gonzalez. The Blue Jays have now employed both Alex Gonzalez's, or Gonzali, as their shortstops over the last 10 years or so. This is the one who was with Cincinnati and Boston in 2009. That's an emergency hack right there. He's trying to somehow get a piece after he had started swinging away early.
Not really a power guy, although if you go back a ways, 2004 he hit 23 home runs. That's the most he's ever hit. He's hit over 100 home runs in his big league career. He's more of a line drive hitter.
Dealing with Scott Feldman, who had a really nice spring training, obviously, to get that opening day assignment. That was part of it. ERA of 2.9 down in Surprise. Gets another pop-up. Been a lot of that so far. Chris Davis has got it.
Now that's really not Scott's game. He's held the ball up a little bit. They've hit the ball in the air. I think generally when Scott's in the groove, so to speak, he's getting the cutter in, throwing the sinker down and away, and getting more than his share of ground balls. Been one ground ball. It's one that Aaron Hill grounded out to shortstop on, the second hitter of the game.
5 opening days ago, we had the exact same story going. There was a pitcher who was kind of a surprise to be getting that opening day start. San Francisco native, ground ball pitcher just like Feldman. That was Ryan Drees. And Ryan Drees had kind of a rough opening day go in 05. But as we check our Geico quote of the day, and Scott Feldman says it is nice to have expectations as pitchers now. Not enough just to survive at the ballpark anymore. Scott Feldman has proven he can win here and on the road. He won 17 times total last year. But again, just going back to that start that Ryan Drees made on opening day of 05, Tag, same kind of thing. The Rangers were playing the Angels that day. And we came on the air talking about the sinker, the ground ball inducing Ryan Drees, and he was getting a lot of fly balls that day. Not sure if it was the adrenaline or what. Hopefully Scott can right the ship. He's down 2-0. Another pop-up. As long as they're just pop-ups, nobody's complaining. Not getting strikeouts, not getting groundouts, but a bunch of meager little pop-ups to get himself off the mound, and it stays 2-0. Boy, he looks good as a Ranger, doesn't he? Vlad Guerrero will get his first official Rangers at bat now. He has owned the Rangers in the past, and he has made this ballpark his home as a visitor. Rangers down 2-0, and Vlad gets hit right away. That's one way to minimize the potential drama, I suppose. Everybody waiting for that first Ranger home run. Instead, he gets one right in the ribs.
The other thing Vlad has owned is opening day. The guys have been a tougher out on opening day than Vlad Guerrero.
Most opening day runs batted in Major League history. 19 of them. Frank Robinson next on the list. And somebody else is going to have to drive him in now instead. What do you think, Tag? You got one at 90 miles an hour in the ribs. Are you smiling?
No, I'm not smiling. In fact, I'm probably still not at first base yet. I'm waving for the trainer. Help!
Nelly Cruz, who throughout his minor league career kept hearing, boy, this guy's like a young Vladimir Guerrero. And what a thrill for Nelson Cruz. He gets to hit behind the actual Vladimir Guerrero here in 2010.
That's a good changeup. If you don't see the hitter swing at the pitch and you're just watching it, you can't tell the difference between that and his fastball. It's probably 7 or 8 miles an hour slower. But to the naked eye, it's very difficult to tell because his delivery is so good. It makes it look just like his fastball.
Markham, one of several pitchers trying to come back from a loss to 2009. Ben Sheets is trying it in Oakland, Brandon Webb in Arizona. And, of course, without Roy Halladay now, Toronto needs somebody to step up as the ace. They're pinning it on Sean Markham.
They have a very young and inexperienced starting rotation. Markham, Talent, Romero, Morrow, Evelyn. And what they've tried to do is surround them with a fairly veteran bullpen. They've got 7 guys out in the bullpen that have been around a little bit. Kevin Gregg, Jason Frazier, Scott Downs, Jeremy Ricardo. Guys like that are veteran guys. And I think with a young rotation like they have, a rotation that I think day in and day out won't be pitching much past the 6th or 7th inning, if that, you're going to need a veteran bullpen.
3-1 to Nelly Cruz, and he rifles it in the left. With a dive, that's Travis Snider, and he's got it. Guerrero has to retreat to first.
That ball fooled Snider. He actually misjudged it. But luckily for him, it hung up long enough to where he could react, change direction, and come in and catch it. Kind of circled around it, and then had to come in and make a diving catch. But the bottom line is, he did make the catch. Another off-speed pitch and a hitter's count. 3-1 pitch. Now he fooled a little bit out in front of it, hit off the end of the bat.
Rangers still looking for their first hit of the afternoon, trailing 2-0, and Chris Davis to the plate. A Longview, Texas native. Now remember, he had just an unbelievable start to his big league career. He came up in the summer of '08. He had 10 home runs in his first 25 games. Something only the Yankees' Kevin Moss had ever done before. Last year was a humbling season, though, for CD. And this is where he knows he's got to get a lot better. With 2 strikes, he was very simply an easy out all of 2009. Puts it in play. Overbay looking to turn 2. They got the 1 out at second base. And yes, they did get the out at first as well. The double play. The Rangers are being shut out 2-0 at the end of 2 on opening day. Back with a special in-booth guest for you in 2 minutes. The honor of the first pitch. This year, no greater authority, no greater celebrity than Roger Staubach had the honor, and And by the way, he nailed it. He threw he threw hard, probably harder than Toronto starter Sean Markham's throwing that changeup right now. And it looked good out there, Roger. How did it feel?
Well, I was on the rubber, and before that I said to Nolan, everybody told me I better get on the rubber. Nolan said, well, if you're on the rubber, you're going to throw it in the ground. So my hero, Nolan Ryan, I said, oh, thanks, Nolan, for giving me that confidence. But but I got up there, and my arm felt good, and Ian made a good target, so I actually had a good pitch.
Yeah, we should mention Ian Kinsler, even though he was on the DL, fought for the right to catch your first pitch today, and boy, he was like a little puppy dog trailing after you afterwards. Did you get a chance to sign the ball for him?
Oh yeah, I get a chance to talk to him and beforehand. And when you're older, having these young guys remember you from the old days is kind of fun. And of course, I grew up as a baseball. I was 7 years old when I started playing baseball, so I'm a baseball fan.
Obviously, now you've got a lot on your plate in terms of Super Bowl 45, and you're so involved in that host committee. That ball barely foul up near third off the bat of Bautista. That must be really reinvigorating for you, if nothing else. I mean, that's a lot of work to put on a Super Bowl.
Well, it is. When we won the bid, we've never been able to bid on the Super Bowl until this new stadium with the retractable roof. And the staff we have with Bill Lively running it and the team we have, we're trying to really make sure it's done right. So North Texas can not only have it this year or after this season, but next year also.
Hamilton gliding back.
Great catch.
That is the first out here in the third inning. And for those that did not see this earlier, this was, well, first of all, you got a chance to meet Don Bowman, the retired U.S. Army Sergeant First Class, who parachuted in with that ball. That's not a bad pitch at all.
There are a lot of guys, Roger, that won't throw from the top of the mound. Was there any doubt in your mind whether?
No, I've had these emails from all my friends that said you're not going to wuss out, well, just lob it in there.
The betting up here was top of the mound, nothing less.
Yeah, it was. But then Nolan, as I mentioned, Nolan said, hey, if you're on that rubber, you're probably going to throw it in the ground. I said, well, thanks, Nolan.
Aaron Hill, the batter.
How about any feelings about Cowboys Stadium being torn down? Is that nostalgic to you or not?
Well, 71 was I got a chance to start that first game, and we had a lot of great games in there. And Troy in the 90s with their Super Bowls, and so there's been a lot of great games. But this stadium is replaced it, and rightfully so. But the memories are still there. It's just that the stadium will be gone, but there's still the memories, and we won a lot of good games there.
Roger Staubach visiting with us, of course, Super Bowl hero and one of the Texas heroes at the Rangers every opening day. It's a real nice tradition. There's a Texas hero that gets the honor of throwing out the first pitch. Hill slugs this one. It's bending foul down that left field line. And I know, Roger, everybody wants a piece of you still in the community. You've got, I know, the Pro Players Foundation golf event coming up in June. You've lent your name to that to help Bryce Saldy. There's a bunch of other things that you've put your name on, and it's nice that you're able to do stuff like that.
Well, we came to Dallas in 1969. We had 3 little girls who were born in the Navy, and this has been our home. We added 2 more in Texas soil, so they don't speak Texanese. Now we got grandkids, so this is really our home. My wife and I both grew up in Ohio. We were, I was a baseball fan with Cincinnati Reds back then, and so this has been our home. And to be able to give back is to show the appreciation that everybody's given us since we've been in Texas. It's been fun, and there's just a lot going on here too.
No doubt. Blanco makes the play on Aaron Hill, and as you kind of alluded to, more and more things going on now that Arlington is becoming kind of an epicenter for a lot of cool stuff. I mean, obviously we've seen the Cowboys move in down the street here. There's been basketball games there and boxing events there, and it seems like as this area continues to grow, it's not just Six Flags and a ballpark anymore.
Jerry's pretty creative, isn't he? He's gonna.
Yeah.
I think they'll get the ultimate fights are going to be over there. Yeah. We need to get Randy White over there for that.
I'm looking forward to seeing Herschel Walker fight Jose Canseco.
Yeah. How about Randy White and Herschel Walker?
How about this is 89, by the way, guys. There's Tom Landry, the first Cowboys representative on the Texas Heroes Parade. Jim Sundberg making the catch.
Oh, jeez.
That was let's see, 89 was Charlie Huff against Jack Morris, and Nolan Ryan getting set to start game 2, because, Tag, you guys had opening day sold out anyway, right? You saved Nolan, get the gate for game 2.
Well, Charlie had been here for a while, and he'd earned the right to be the starter. It doesn't necessarily say that he's better than Nolan or anything like that, but I think because Charlie had been here, I think he earned the right to get that start.
And Jim Sundberg, just to finish up on what you were talking about, Roger, with Ohio. Sonny always says, because he's a Midwest guy too, I wasn't born here, but I got here as quick as I could.
Having hitters, when I played at Navy, you know those Charlie Huffs of the world, man. They had those junk balls and those knuckleballs, and God, that was terrible.
Well, they say that's why a lot of ball players go to a different sport, because they started throwing curveballs and knuckleballs.
Yeah.
How about if you weren't a football player? Do you think that you would have gone into baseball?
You know, I probably would have had a chance, but I think baseball is difficult to predict. I was on a really good all-star team in Cincinnati, and I played left field. I was the only player, we were seniors in high school, that did not try Major League Baseball.
Wow.
And only one really went to the big time, and that was Eddie Brinkman.
Yeah. You played with Eddie Brinkman?
Oh, yes.
Wow,
yeah,
he was a teammate of mine, too.
Yeah, Eddie, but the other guys were really, really good players, but they never got out of the minor leagues. So I just think it's hard to predict when you go from the minors to the majors, it's hard to predict.
Boy, there's Adam Lind doing it again to the Texas Rangers. We talked about it during his first at-bat last inning. 6 home runs last year and only 9 games played against the Rangers. 2 of those were against Scott Feldman. He just buried another one off of Feldy to make it 3-0.
I think at this stage of the game, when 6 of the outs have been in the air and only a couple of the outs have been on the ground, normally it's the other way around for Scott. It looks like he's gotten the ball up a little bit, although I think if you go back and look at the replay of both of the home runs, you'll see 2 pretty decent pitches. The ball to Wells was down and away. That pitch was down and in. And sometimes you just have to tip your hat to these hitters. They're pretty good, too.
Feldman, who gave up only 2 home runs all spring training, has now given up 2 in the first 3 innings today. Vernon Wells is the guy that hit the other. We continue chatting with Roger Staubach. He's kind enough to join us here at the ballpark today. Again, he had the honor of throwing out the first pitch this afternoon.
Yeah, we're going to get some runs today, though. This could be a 10-8 type game today.
Well, we're kind of famous for those around here, so.
I was watching the Red Sox and Yankees last night. CC Sabathia had a 5-1 lead. He was kind of cruising in the middle of the game, and that ended up being that kind of game that went against the Yankees.
Wells is now 2 for 2. So Lind has a single and a homer. Wells has a single and a homer. Those 2 guys are 4 for 4. Everybody else for Toronto is 0 for everything. And we'll see if Scott Feldman can settle down here. Same deal in the first inning, right, Tag? He got the first 2 guys out. And then he just couldn't get Lind and Wells.
Yep, both of them. Roger, you look like you're probably in the shape that most 25-year-olds are in. What kind of things do you do? Do you still play full court basketball like your life depends on it?
I play still a little basketball. I get some things between my L4 and L5, my back, and but I work out on elliptical machines a lot and just try to break a sweat to deal with life. Really.
How about golf, tennis, anything like that?
Play golf, more customer golf. I'm not in love with golf, but I like golf, so I play now and then.
Tom plays now and then as well.
I wish I wasn't in love with it. I wouldn't feel so bad when I'd have bad rounds.
Well, I sure hope Scott has a good year. He's really a good pitcher, and last year what he did. So pulling for him to be a 20-gamer this year, 20-game winner.
He was close last year, 17, missing down and into Lyle Overbay. So, Roger, come fall, how much football are you still watching? Are you on your couch with the DirecTV package flipping around?
Yeah, I really still like. I just like sports. I'm into the Mavericks. I think the Mavericks. You want to see them do well. I've predicted we're going to win at least 95 Ranger games. So
let's see. You got 95. So we got Josh Hamilton down for 96. Nolan at 92. Everybody's in the 90s. It's pretty strong.
Yeah, take that.
So I think I've really learned to love sports and understand how fans are. After being a football player, because you really follow your team, and it's a kind of lets you think about something else in life. You can relax watching the game. So I love sports. So.
Overbay nails one to right. Well, we love having you here. These fans, 50,000 of them, we're thrilled to see you throw out that first pitch today. And obviously, as we head towards Super Bowl 45, great success with all of that.
I was glad to get over with, Josh. I'll tell you that.
you did a great job.
I didn't throw it in the ground. So
thanks, Tom. Great to see you.
The great Roger Staubach spending some time with us. Scott Feldman, happy to be off the mound. Talamaki will dig in against Sean Markham. The Rangers have had a tough time figuring out that changeup so far. Meantime, what could be just a little bit too much adrenaline for Scott Feldman, you never know. Could also just be that Toronto's got a couple good hitters, Adam Lind and Vernon Wells. As the Blue Jays leading 3-0. Wells momentarily lost that ball, looked like in the gray sky. He found it. One down, bottom 3, and folks, you're invited to join us Wednesday. The Rangers and these Blue Jays will play a 7:05 game. It's a $1 hot dog night. Also a Dr. Pepper autograph Wednesday. Call right now for your tickets, 972-RANGERS, or go online at TexasRangers.com. Tag, I've seen the sun twice today. Once at around 10:30, and once I would say at maybe about noon. But for the most part, it's been a gray day.
Well, it's been a great day, but still, if you're a fan, it's actually a perfect day for a ball game. If you're coming out for a day game, sometimes the sun can overwhelm you.
This is true.
But on this kind of a day, it's a perfect day to be here to watch a game.
Andres Blanco is going to send one into shallow right field. Caught up two. Jose Bautista puts it away, 2 down. The Rangers have only hit one ball on the ground, and that was a double play. A lot of pop-ups in this game, both sides. Could that too be adrenaline kicking in? I mean, it's opening day.
I think it's probably definitely that for Scott. As far as Markham goes, he's had a good changeup. I think sometimes when you're out in front of a changeup, you tend to lift it a little bit. But even this game for Scott, even though I think he's probably been up a little bit more, 7 of the 9 outs have been in the air as opposed to on the ground. The 2 pitches, and I'm sure as the game goes on, we'll go back and watch them. The 2 pitches that were hit for home runs really weren't bad pitches. The one to Vernon Wells was a slider, a cutter, down and away that he reached down and pulled out of the ballpark. And the one that Lind hit out was down and in. He did the same thing, pulled it to right field down the line. But it's not like he's hanging sliders or throwing balls that aren't sinking belt high and giving up home runs. That's what Josh Beckett did last night. He moved a couple of pitches and got knocked around a little bit.
Well, meantime, here's Markham once through the order tag. He's only thrown 8 pitches out of the strike zone. Well, now 9 against 21 strikes.
He's done a good job of getting his fastball over, getting ahead in the count. And the times that he's been behind in the count, he's been able to throw his changeup. And once through the lineup, the Rangers have been fooled by that. We'll see what happens the next time through the lineup. Still very early.
Markham trying for that outside corner. Elvis battling a sore left wrist that held him out of the last couple spring training games, but he says he's just fine to go this afternoon. Takes that changeup. That's the thing that everybody else is going to have to start doing too, it would appear. They can get it up. That was one of the real nice things to watch with Elvis Andrus last year. He was second on the team in percentage of pitches taken. He was the only Ranger to put more than 50% of his swings into play. That's not something you'd figure a 20-year-old kid would do. Those are things normally a 10-year veteran would do. Got him.
There it is again.
Now that changeup is just carved up the Rangers early in this one. 3-0 Toronto. Our AT&T trivia question, can you name the only 2 pitchers in Ranger history to win on opening day back-to-back seasons? Answer coming up in the bottom of the 4th inning. This is the 39th season of Texas Ranger baseball. It's regular season game number 6,020. There have only been 10 playoff games, however. That's what the Rangers are trying to attack here in 2010. Get back to October, see what they can do. So much of it, as always, just hinges on how the pitching shapes up. The Rangers open with a 17-game winner from a year ago. Scott Feldman pours in a strike to John Buck. We called Scott Feldman the surprise of 2008. A guy who had made all of 4 starts in the minors in his baseball career. He ended up leading the Rangers in quality starts that summer. But if 08 was a surprise, how do you classify his 09? 17 wins. Only 4 pitchers in the majors won more games than that. We will see one of them, by the way, this weekend. Felix Hernandez of Seattle. 1-2 delivery to Buck is missing in on a day that Andres Blanco gets to start at second base. Ian Kinsler stays on the DL for now. Ian, you got to be so bummed, dude, not to be out there today. I know.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating, but I'm trying to be the best cheerleader I can. Not much to cheer about right now, but we still got a lot of game left.
You can cheer about that if you want to.
There you go.
That one disappeared on John Buck. All right, before we get into baseball, football guy that you are, how cool was that catching Roger Staubach's first pitch today?
That was real cool. I mean, he hummed that thing in there pretty good. Put a little velocity on it. He wasn't. I don't think he was too worried about anything. He kind of, perfect chest high, right at me.
Edwin Encarnacion will be the batter. And Ian, obviously, all the Ranger fans want to know how you're feeling right now. When you think you're going to be able to get back out there, get something done?
I don't know. I mean, when I did it, I thought it was going to be 3 or 4 days. Then it was 2 weeks, and then it was another week, and right now it's like 3 weeks and a couple days. So, I can't really put my finger on it. No one really can, and just trying to take my time and make sure that I'm 100% when I come back.
Have you been able to do anything that feels like baseball activity yet, or still not real close? Look out, that goes flying up over that Toronto dugout. Sorry about that.
Luckily, it took a big hop and went right over the front row. No one got hit by it, fortunately.
What
baseball activities. I can hit, I can throw. I can take a ground ball right at me, no big deal. It's just accelerating and running the bases is the next step, really, and it's not really coming around for that. And I can go in the cage and work on my swing all day, but it's really not going to help unless you can get in the game and see some live pitching. So, kind of waiting for that, and hopefully it's soon.
Opening day, I know you're not playing in it, but you still get to run out there and hear the cheers of 50,000 people. That's got to warm your soul a little bit.
Yeah, that was awesome. I really appreciate that, no doubt. It's a bummer not being able to play. There you go.
Elvis Andrus makes that play, and you got to play about 140 games with him last year. And, I know you missed Michael Young, obviously, as your double play partner, but obviously he didn't move too far down the road from you. You still got a chance to play with him, but on a more regular basis, Elvis is your guy now, and that seemed like that just went real well.
Yeah, it worked out real well. We were able to pretty much figure everything out last year in spring training, and it went pretty quick, and we were able to mesh pretty well. And it's a lot of fun playing next to him. He's got a lot of range, great arm, and we turn a lot of double plays, so it's a lot of fun with him playing over the middle.
Goals for this year, Ian? Are you a numbers guy? Do you say, you were a 30-30 guy last year. Do you say, I want that +5 this year, or just whatever happens?
Whatever happens. I'm just trying to win games, trying to help this team any way I can. Hitting behind Vlad, I think I'm going to have a lot of RBI chances. So, that's basically my goal, is just to make sure that I'm driving in guys when they're on base. And, if there's no one on base, I got to get on, steal some bases, try to cause as much havoc as I can. That's basically my goal.
It must be nice as a player to be in the position that the team is in this year. I think in the past the team hoped to be a competitive team. But this year, I think to a man, you guys believe that you will be a contender. You should be a contender this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we feel very confident in all of our players. Bullpens, we're real confident in. Our starting five is real confident in those guys. And, you know, defensively, we had a great year last year, and I think that it's only going to get better. So, you know, we're real excited about this season, and I think it's going to be a real good one for Texas Rangers.
2 strikes to count to Alex Gonzalez, and there's another ball popped. Bourbon, long way to come, but he's there. He's got it. Thank you, Ian Kinsler.
All right, guys.
All right, man. Hustle back. Rangers need to hustle up to the plate and start getting something done. No hits quite yet, and trailing 3-0. T trivia question wanting to know who were the only 2 pitchers in Ranger history to win opening days back-to-back seasons. Charlie Huff did it, and the guy we saw just before the game, Tom Grieve. Ken Hill did it in 96 and 97.
Well, Kenny Hill is a big part of those Ranger playoff teams. Still lives in the area. So many of the Ranger players over the years, after they're done playing, have decided to make this their home. They don't all come here, I don't think, with that intention, but after they've been here a while, they realize what a great area it is.
Well, they settle in like it's a big, comfy hammock.
I think before the game, when they introduced the ex-players, I think there was over 40 of them that showed up for opening day. Go all the way back to 1972. Saw Don Stanhouse down there. Ted Ford was down there.
Rich Billings.
Rich Billings was down there, yeah.
Ball and a strike to Bourbon. And again, that confounding changeup from
Boy,
Sean Markham.
I think that's all you can call it. It is confounding. This is a good hitting lineup. And it just goes to show you what a changeup can do to good hitters.
From Excelsior Springs, Missouri, Sean Markham. Played his college ball with Ryan Howard at Missouri State. Ryan Howard's got a home run today. The Phillies are rolling over the Nationals 7-1. That would be your Roy Halladay started game, not for Toronto, but for Philadelphia. That's one of the seismic shifts on the baseball landscape this year. Cliff Lee to Seattle, though he's on the DL. And could be for another 3 weeks, it looks like. Bourbon chased the off-speed pitch. And here's Sean Markham, who hasn't pitched since 2008. And he's working on a no-hitter in the 4th inning. Michael Young will come to the plate. Pretty good bet to have that first Ranger hit of the year. Check our Ford leaderboard. And Michael Young is high up on it when it comes to all-time hits in the history of this franchise. He will pass Rafael Palmeiro soon. maybe sometime around first day of summer, he'll catch and pass Pudge.
A few curveballs that he's thrown today. Mostly they've been sinkers. He's got good movement on his fastball. Tails down and away to the left-hand hitters, and of course the changeup that he's thrown.
Towards third, Encarnacion gets up and fires. Overbay couldn't hold it, and the Rangers get a base runner. Now you wait to see hit or error.
It's a tough chance. He knocked it down. If it's an error, the reason is he had time to make the throw and get Michael and didn't do it. He kind of rushed it. It was not an easy chance, though, to knock down.
Well, maybe because the no-hitter is intact, they deliberate, and they are going to say now it is an error. Second Ranger base runner. Guerrero was hit by a pitch back in the second. Here's Josh Hamilton. Now Josh, as you may know, is a guy that loves that first pitch. He and Clint Hurdle have had that discussion. Do you call it too much first pitch swinging if indeed you're getting results off of it? Back in 08, when he was swinging first pitch all the time and leading the league in runs batted in, it was not a big deal. Last year, that down season, I think Josh was the first to say maybe I got to reevaluate that.
Well, the other thing you have to, I think, take into consideration.
As he nails this one to right center, Vernon Wells sliding, he got it. 2 down.
That you have to take into consideration is the pitcher. And I think when Josh came to the Rangers a couple of years ago, chances are he was seeing better pitches to hit on the first pitch. And then as time went on and the pitchers start keeping track of the at-bats and they start to realize that he swung at the first pitch very often, they started to say to themselves, well, look, if he's going to swing at that pitch, we can't give him a good pitch to hit. And so you see off-speed pitches, you see fastballs a little bit out of the strike zone. And then now it's up to the hitter to make an adjustment. If he's not seeing good pitches on the first pitch, then I think what Josh needs to do is to be a little more selective at it.
Well, and what a perfect segue into talking about Vlad Guerrero, who used to swing at everything, so pitchers just stopped throwing him strikes. Wails away and didn't get it. Vlad has that reputation for being a big swinger, but as we talked about in the spring training tag, he's never struck out 100 times in a season. He's also a career .235 hitter with 2 strikes on him. The Rangers last year with 2 strikes as a team hit .176. Most players hit around .185, .186, and Vlad with 2 strikes is at .235. Big swing, and he pops it up. Sean Markham has a no-hitter through 4 on opening day in Arlington. Scott Feldman back to the mound when we come back. are still mothballed right now. 4 innings in the books, no hits, no runs against Sean Markham. Scott Feldman, meantime, has given up a couple of home runs, one to Vernon Wells and one to Adam Lind. And it is 3-0 in favor of Toronto. Opening day 2010. The 17th home opener in this ballpark. The Rangers have only won 7 of those. Still plenty of time to rally, but it's up to Scott Feldman to keep the Blue Jays down to a dull roar. We'll talk some pitching this inning with the great Steve Busby, our 5th inning guest. Hi, Buzz.
Hi, Josh. Nice to see you. Happy opening day to you.
Happy New Year
too,
to you.
Tom.
Thank you, Buzz.
We're marveling, not so much at Scott Feldman. We had time to marvel at him all year last year, but what we're marveling at today is a guy that missed all of 2009 and is just shutting the Rangers down today, Sean Markham.
Yeah, it's a pretty good advertisement for having Tommy John surgery.
Yeah.
He's come back, I'd say at least 100%, if not better.
Well, a couple years ago when we saw Markham, I mean, everything we had in our notes about him was a guy who's got a really effective changeup, and that apparently has not changed at all.
No, especially when he's behind in the count or gone to a full count a couple times today the way he has. He has the confidence to throw that pitch in any count, which is what you have to have an effective off-speed pitch. But he really sets it up very nicely. I think he stays away from from really getting guys to slow their swings down before he throws that changeup.
Feldman brings a 2-2 to Snider. And Snider able to hold up. As for Scott Feldman, I mean, I'm going to put it to you. Do you chalk some of this up to adrenaline, or do you not even try to get it inside his head?
Well, I don't think he will. I would tend to say, hey, in the first inning, things go along pretty well, the first 3 outs, and all of a sudden he's making good pitches now, which, whether it's opening day jitters, if you want to call it that, or just too much adrenaline for this particular ball game, who knows? But I know that he's gotten better in the last couple of innings, and that's what's important.
Talked about having to earn his strikes with Jerry Davis earlier today, and he certainly poured that one right where he needed to for out number 1. Butterflies on opening day, I mean, that gets talked about all the time, Buzz, but there's got to be something to that.
Oh, yeah, I think if you don't have butterflies, Josh, you may not have a heartbeat.
How many opening day starts did you have, Buzz?
2.
2?
Yeah.
Did you feel that way yourself?
Yeah, and I got a little bit nervous, I think, before most starts.
Yeah.
But opening day was something
even more
special. Oh yeah, I can remember.
I would think especially at home too, with all the hometown fans there.
That was fun, but I'll tell you the one I had the most jitters was when I faced Nolan, opening day of '73, my rookie year.
Oh boy!
And obviously he was a handful anyway for our hitters, but the president was there, President Nixon at the time, and
wow.
And I got called over to his box, and boy, there was just a lot of things going on besides baseball, believe me, in my head.
Borbon waiting under this one off the bat of Jose Bautista. We were talking earlier, too, just about Feldman. Obviously when he's on, getting a lot of called third strikes, and he's not about to get that from Jerry Davis anyway today, but also getting a lot of ground balls. We have not seen that from Scott Feldman.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things, Josh, you have to notice about Scott today is that the ball has not been moving in its normal downward arc. His two-seam fastball hasn't been effective for him yet. He's gotten a little better, as I said, here lately, but and I think, sinker ball pitchers or guys that have a good sinker will tell you they can get a little bit overly charged up and have too much adrenaline to allow the ball to sink, try and throw it too hard.
Buzz, we're going to, if we have time, show the 2 balls that he's given up home runs on. And you take a look at the 2 pitches. They don't look like they're that bad pitches. He's made a couple of pitches that have been up that have been hit in the air. Well, looks like we're not going to have time. I can't believe he did that. We're going to keep you here, Buzz, and make you watch this.
Okay.
We'll bring you back for a batter here, Buzz, so we can break that down with you. There's another fly ball out. And the Rangers and Blue Jays proceed now. To the bottom of the 5th inning, it is still 3-0. Ticket specials make your trip to the ballpark affordable. Choose from great deals that include concessions, parking, and more. Maximize your value. Log on, go to TexasRangers.com/eSavers for more information. Steve Busby continues with us in the booth. Josh Lewin, Tom Grieve with you on opening day. And the Rangers are, trailing 3-0 here, Buzz, and still looking for that first base hit against the changeup artiste, Mr. Sean Markham.
Yeah, he has been an artist, too. Josh, I know, Tom, you have to kind of marvel at a guy like this. You know the changeup's coming, and hitters still can't do anything about it.
No, that just shows you how tough it is. He completely sells it to make it look like a fastball with his delivery. And he's got pretty good movement on his fastball. He sinks it and tails it away from the lefties. And I think the key, in addition to how good his changeup has been, when he has thrown his fastball, he's thrown it in a location where the hitters can't do much with it anyway. So far, it's only 4 innings, but it's been pretty good through 4 innings.
Meantime, Scott Feldman's allowed only 4 hits, all of them to Adam Lind and Vernon Wells. Well, the Rangers now 0 for 13, and we will go back to Scott Feldman here. Tag, you were talking about pitch locations of those 2 home runs.
Yeah, when you look at the home run pitches, you don't see pitches that are hangers where you go, that should have been a home run. That pitch is down, Buzz, not a terrible pitch, but if you make that pitch, I don't think you expect to give up a home run, do you?
To Vernon Wells, you might. Vernon's a little bit special. Both of them, you'll notice the last one to Lynn. That missed the location by a full width of the plate.
Yeah.
And down and into a left-handed hitter is no place to pitch. You're going to get killed more often than not.
Chris Davis sails one towards center, and that is out number 2. So the Rangers now 0 for 14 on opening day.
I may be nitpicking a little bit, Tom, but I tend to be more critical about pitchers and location than anything else. And it's, if Vernon Wells, you got 2 guys in the middle of the order that can hurt you. Vernon Wells, you cannot let him get his arms extended on a pitch that's on the plate. If you want to throw him away, go off the plate when he's swinging.
Right.
And Lynn, if you're going to miss location, you've got to miss it the other side of the plate where the target is set, because there's a reason they wanted the ball outside. But when you miss it on the inside, even though it's off the plate and down, to a left-handed hitter, as I mentioned, that's kind of death to me.
Yeah, I think on both. But my take on that is on both those pitches, they may not have been exactly where they wanted to throw them. But when we go and watch the highlights tonight, for instance, and if you see the video of 10 home runs, the majority of those home runs are going to be pitches that hung. Last night, Beckett gave up a couple of home runs on fastballs right down the middle of the plate. I think what you're saying on those 2 pitches, they may not have been the right pitch to those hitters, but the pitch itself wasn't a terrible pitch.
No, you're right. You're right.
Saltalamacchia kind of jumps at that one. And that's the inning. We'll see Steve Busby after the game as part of our post-game coverage, and hopefully he'll have some Ranger hits to talk about by then.
I hope so.
Man, oh man, Sean Markham is stealing the show right now. It's a no-hitter through 5 on opening day. Mariners this weekend, and on Saturday, the first 25,000 fans get a 2010 Rangers calendar. After the game, country music recording artist Clint Black performing on the North Lawn. For tickets, you can call right now, 972-RANGERS, or you can always go online at texasrangers.com. Boy, it's like the sun is heroically trying to break through the cloud cover here. The Rangers trying to break through against Sean Markham. They have not been able to do that. They're hitless through 5. There was one maybe coulda, shoulda kind of scoring decision. The ball hit down near third base. It was ruled an error. But for the most part, the Rangers have not been making great contact yet. And here's the guy that's been making the best contact against Scott Feldman. This is Adam Lind. Coming into this at bat right here, Mr. Grieve. 3 of his last 5 at bats against Feldman going back to last year. He has left the yard.
Well, he left the yard 35 times last year. He's a pretty good hitter.
Boy, he's just got Scott's number. Another base hit for Adam Lind. Jim Knox is standing by with a special guest. Let's go there right now.
All right, Josh, big happenings before the game because retired first sergeant, first class, that is Dana Bowman, parachuted into the stadium, handed out the game ball. But what makes this story so unique is you're a double amputee, but that doesn't take away for something you love, right?
I love being able to skydive in or parachute into a special momentous area like this, the Ranger Stadium. I live out in Weatherford, Willow Park, Texas. Not too far from here, but, it's about giving back.
It's something that you did give the first, you handed off the first ball. It was nice. Roger Staubach pitched the perfect strike right there. But right now, what do you do?
Well, I have an opportunity to travel all over the world. Last month, I was in 18 different states, and I have an opportunity to jump into special events like this. I also skydive into elementary schools and corporate world, too, being a motivational speaker. I brought my kids with me, and they're able to help out, especially pass out cards and meet and greet people. But we're just glad to be here. And, we're lucky for what we have. We want to thank our troops, the soldiers that are out there watching, and the men and women that support our great nation. And it's about that flag.
Very well said. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the game. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was inspirational stuff before the game today. Thank you, Jim. The pop-out by Vernon Wells handled by Chris Davis in foul ground. And again, Scott Feldman, known as a ground ball guy. The coin of the realm today has been the pop-up. A little snow cone action for Chris Davis. Action for the first time in the Ranger bullpen. Feldman is up to 86 pitches for the afternoon. I would think if you get 6 innings from your starter on opening day, win or lose, right, Tag? That's not too bad.
Yeah, I think the Ranger pitchers are prepared to throw 110 pitches. Most of them have thrown in a game in spring training at least once over 100 pitches. And so that's shouldn't be a problem. Now, you don't know what's going on between innings between the pitcher and the manager and the pitching coach, but just based on pitch count, if Scott gets a ground ball double play right here, you're looking at 88 pitches. Come back for the 9th inning, have a 15-pitch inning. You're around for the 7th inning, 103, 104 pitches, and you've gotten your 7 innings in right about where you want it. But in case the inning goes on for a while, manager likes to have that guy up in the bullpen so he's ready. You don't get him up too late, and then the pitcher has to throw too many pitches. There's been 12 balls in the air, 2 balls on the ground, and 2 strikeouts. Generally, those numbers are reversed.
The infield hangs at double play depth. And there is that ground ball. Blanco tears after it, shuttles it to Andrews, and it's Viva Venezuela. The guys up the middle, the 2 Venezuelans turn 2. It stays 3-0. And the Rangers, looking for their first hit, will have that chance when we come back. $5,000. The Rangers would love to just scratch out a single right about now. And this effort from Sean Markham today, Tag, I don't know if you remember opening day 2 years ago. There was a kid named Brian Burris that rolled in here for the Baltimore Orioles and threw one changeup after another. Rangers lost that game 8-1, and it was just a frustrating afternoon. They could never really stay back on that changeup. It's starting to remind you a bit of that today. We'll see what the Rangers can get done here in the 6th. Opening day last year, the hits were not a problem. They had 9 runs against Cliff Lee, Cy Young Award winner.
Well, the one thing about Markham, he didn't pitch last year, but as we've mentioned, in 2007, he was 12-6. 2008, he was 9-7 with an ERA of 3.39 in 25 starts. So before last season, he was a really good-looking young pitcher that if he'd stayed healthy, probably would be in his 4th season, and I think fans would know a little bit more about him. But because he missed all of last season, he's not a household name. But he's got a little bit of a track record, and he has definitely come back from that Tommy John surgery to be as good as he ever was.
Right now, he is almost 2/3 of the way to doing something that only Bob Feller has ever done, and quite in a different way, by the way. The opening day no-hitter. Bob Feller did that in 1940.
One thing he's got going for him in that regard is usually on opening day, a manager's not going to let his pitcher throw 125 or 130 pitches, especially one coming off Tommy John surgery. But he's kept his pitch count down so well, he's only thrown 58 pitches here in the 6th inning.
Andrews showing bunt. That's not a bad idea, right? You got to get on.
Guys with speed for sure.
Bob Feller was known as Rapid Robert. It was all about the fastball. Again, Sean Markham is not exactly Rapid Sean. Andrews did have a hit on opening day against the aforementioned Cliff Lee in 2009. It was his first ever big league hit. Throw that out there, maybe hoping to jiggle some karma loose here for the Rangers. So far, they are 0 for 16. I would say the Toronto fans are not missing Roy Halladay as much as they thought they might on opening day right about now.
Well, it'd be hard for Halladay to be doing much better than this, that's for
sure.
No walks, 5 strikeouts.
Here's what we're talking about with Andrews' tag against Cliff Lee. First big league at bat. He doubles into the right field corner. That was just the first of many for Elvis. Takes this one. It's a called 3rd strike. 5 2/3 innings of no-hit opening day baseball for Sean Markham.
Tough for any pitcher to be much sharper than Markham is today. Fastball, you can see it from that angle right on the outside corner. There's a lot of ways you can be effective with your fastball. In some cases, you can overpower guys with velocity. But just as effective, if not more effective, is the way he's placed it, where he's located his fastball today. Another pretty good fastball.
And these are 85, 86 mile an hour fastballs, right?
It's not the velocity, but it's where you throw them. And the big league hitter, when it's combined with that changeup, and when the command that he's got with his fastball, it might as well be 95 miles an hour as far as the way the hitter reacts to it.
Toronto's moving forward with a new GM and their longtime ace starting pitcher now in Philadelphia. But this post-Roy Halladay era is off to a pretty decent start this afternoon. And Halladay, meantime, is winning 11-1 now in Washington. White Sox lead the Indians 4-0. That game's in the 5th. Twins will play the Angels tonight. Tigers are at the Royals. Mariners play the A's. National League score to pass along. Cardinals over the Reds 6-3 right now. 2 home runs for Albert Pujols. I guess the back is holding up okay. If you look at how they go after Julio Bourbon, boy, everything's away here from Markham.
Well, when he struck out the first time up, the pattern was pretty much the same. They were, as far as being outside, they were down a little bit more, not quite as much up. Definitely keeping it away. Watch the catcher's glove. Get a pretty good idea of where he's trying to throw it.
Pretty good take right there. The Rangers, who have been starving for base runners, they've got a hit batsman. And Michael Young reached on an error, and that's it. Here's Bourbon working it to 3-2. Pop down the left field line. Right over near the tarp. It's grabbed to end the inning, and Sean Markham, 6 innings in the books now, leading 3-0. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag. It's on. And for the first extended time period today, the sun is actually breaking through the clouds. That happens at about 2:35 in the afternoon. And hopefully will be a harbinger of better things to come in the back third of this ball game, Mr. Grieve. It is still 3-0 Toronto.
Well, you know, if you look at the game, it feels like Scott hasn't pitched a very good game because the Rangers are behind by 3 runs. The reality is 6 innings, 3 runs is a quality start. He's given up a couple of home runs, but he's hanging right in there. He's given up only 5 hits in 6 innings. Hasn't walked a batter in the ball game.
2 guys have hurt him. Lind and Wells are a combined 5 for 6. Everybody else is 0 for 16.
Yeah, they've each got a home run. Wells has a single. Lind has a couple of singles to go along with it. And you know, as you look at their lineup, it's the 2, 3, 4 guys in their lineup that are going to be doing the damage. Bottom of their lineup is not a strong bottom of the lineup. And so the hard part is to navigate yourself through Hill, Lind, and Wells. And I guess that's the one thing Scott hasn't done today. But generally speaking, if your starting pitcher for the Rangers can give up 3 runs in 6 innings, you feel like you've got a great chance to be ahead in the ballgame. Today, it's hats off to Sean Markham.
Line forms to the right to get Tommy John surgery.
No kidding.
Sean Markham has come by bionic. That bat splinters out of the hands of Buck. When Scott Feldman is on, that is what he does, is break bats. It's opening day for your lawn, folks. Visit your local Lowe's on Saturday, April 10th. Scott's National Lawn Care Day. Learn tips from the lawn care pros Well, this field looks great, doesn't it? Hard to believe there was a foot of snow on that about 6-7 weeks ago. Way out in front is Encarnacion, strike one.
You know, as Buzz said when he was up here, I think Scott, as the game has gone on, is probably throwing the ball better now than at any time during the game. And, you know, maybe that was a little bit of adrenaline early in the game, but his breaking pitches are better now. And he's cruising pretty well. Since the single by Wells in the third inning, he's only given up one base runner. That was a base hit by Lind. Line drive to right field.
Edwin Encarnacion with a foul. This guy ended April last year, Tag, hitting 120. Just a terrible start. And he got dealt, of course, from Cincinnati here to Toronto in the Scott Rowland deal.
2 years ago, he quietly hit 26 home runs for Cincinnati.
Nope, he's not spam on a cracker, as we say sometimes. He can actually play a little bit. Feldman strikes him out. Going up top.
Yep, good fastball. That was looked like a four-seam fastball. Didn't have the sinking action. That one just had the good velocity, good location, and threw it right by him.
Feldman has still never beaten Toronto. This is his 7th appearance against him, 3rd start. We chronicled how Adam Lind just seems to have his number. That's been the case today as well. Lind has 3 of the 5 hits in this game. Gotta like the Rangers' chances to break through, though, in the bottom of the 7th. You got Michael Young to start it up. And then the power. Hamilton, Guerrero, Cruz, and Davis. Line shot to Andrews, and they didn't just get 6 from Scott Feldman, they got 7 from Scott Feldman for the first 7th inning stretch of the season. Michael Young and company got to get it going. Well, opening day, those expectations have been dimmed a little bit. Sean Markham driving home that point. He has not given up a hit yet. I guess I'm talking about it. Sorry about that. Wells and Lind with the home runs for Toronto. And the Rangers in danger here of stepping into, unwittingly, some baseball history. All the talk about the bats being back, and that firmly is believed. But just not yet today. Sean Markham and that nasty changeup just kind of demoralizing the Rangers and their bats.
Yeah, it's one of those games. It's not the Ranger hitting. It's Sean Markham and the way he's pitching. And it's the same old story. When a pitcher with good stuff has his best stuff, he can shut down virtually any lineup.
Young reached on what was scored an error back in the 4th inning. The Rangers have had only a couple of base runners all day. Vlad Guerrero was the other. Got hit by a pitch his first time up.
I want to thank the cookie lady for sending up her chocolate chips and snickerdoodles. Opening day cookies for everybody up here in the booth. Thank you very much, Shirley. Also want to thank MR Pigs Cafe for the great barbecue that they send up 2 or 3 times a year. Thank you very much for that. And it's great to see Bill Harvey back in the ballpark. Bill's had some health problems, but he's feeling good, sitting in his customary front row seats right behind the dugout. Bill used to be one of the owners of the Rangers back when Brad Corbett owned the team. It's great to see him here at the ballpark.
Vernon Wells loping in, and he's got it. 8 outs away for Sean Markham, and that pitch count is still to the point tag where you can talk about it, right? I mean, 73 pitches, there's no reason to take him out.
No, he's fine. Making a lot of good pitches. And the Rangers really haven't hit that many balls hard. Michael hit a ball fairly hard to center field that Wells went back and caught. Snider and Wells both made nice sliding catches, but on balls that weren't hit that hard. Snider misjudged his a little and then came in and caught it. And even though Vernon slid for the one ball that he caught off Josh in right center field, it was an easy catch for him. Michael had the ground ball to third base that was hit pretty hard, and Encarnacion knocked it down and then had plenty of time to throw, but rushed his throw, made a bad throw, and that play went as an error. That probably was the closest thing to a base hit. But I really can't argue at that stage of the game with a call by the scorer. It's a play that I think Encarnacion would say once he got the ball in his hand, he should have made the throw. And it hasn't been, there's been no walks and 6 strikeouts in the game. And that makes that changeup, makes that 86-mile-an-hour fastball that Josh swung through that much quicker to the batter's eye.
The Rangers have only been shut out once on opening day ever. That was in 1993 at the old ballpark. Jim Abbott did that. But again, Markham is angling towards a little bit more important history than that. Having not given up a hit yet, he's in the 7th inning.
Scott Feldman has pitched well, and he's kept the game close enough to where all you need is a couple of base runners, and the Rangers have plenty of guys in their lineup who with one swing in the bag can hit the ball out of the ballpark. So it's been easier said than done today, but still 5 outs to go, 7 outs to go.
With the sunshine having broken completely through now.
Actually, Josh, make that 8 outs to go.
Well, sure. 8 to go as Josh Hamilton checks his swing. Vlad Guerrero coming up.
Oh, a bloop and a blast, and all of a sudden it's a 3-3 ball game.
We quickly go to Jim Knox.
All right, big happenings here. This is Corey out of Arlington. Became the 40 millionth fan of the Rangers. Hit the turnstiles. What happened, Corey?
Well, we walked in and we sat down in our seats, and Cherie came up and she said, "We're the 40 millionth customer."
There you go. You get season tickets, the nice hat, and these fans chanting the whole game. 40 million fan. Congratulations, Josh.
Thank you, Jim. Only about 50,000 of those fans are actually here today. But yeah, in the history of this franchise now, 40 million fans.
Pretty good. Remember the first couple of years here when we were drawing 500,000 or 600,000 fans, it looked like 40 million might be about 20 years from now.
We'd all be wearing space helmets by the time that came around. Vlad Guerrero, who was hit by a pitch earlier for Cruz Light Freeze Cam. This was his first at bat as a Ranger. Got it right in the ribs.
Yeah, the catcher set up on the inside part of the plate. He was just trying to get the ball in. Got it way in. Made good pitches to Guerrero, though. The pitch he got him to pop up was a sinking fastball in on his fist. That last pitch had great movement on it. Glad he pulled it foul. Hasn't seen a good pitch to hit yet.
Boy, his crowd just itching for something to cheer for. Vlad, who did not have a home run the entire spring training. This will be a heck of a time to step into one right here. He steps into it. It is down for the first Ranger hit. Leave it to the guy with a career .394 batting average in this building to finally solve Sean Markham.
Well, there's a hit, but more importantly, now you've got Cruz, Davis coming up. Two guys with power to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And one swing of the bat. And what feels like a dominating Blue Jay performance can also all of a sudden become a 3-3 ball game.
It took until the 22nd plate appearance for a Ranger to get a base hit today. And now here is Nelson Cruz. Nelson had a fantastic spring training. Led the Cactus League in runs batted in with 20, and he hit .364. Check swing. Yes, he did. Check that swing, and they are starting to lay off that changeup just a little more. As action begins in both bullpens.
Well, the Ranger hitters haven't seen Markham for the most part. Some of them may never have faced him, but he didn't pitch at all last year. And when a guy comes out with that kind of a changeup, that's a tough adjustment first time through the lineup.
Kevin Gregg and Scott Downs are working in that bullpen for Toronto. Rangers had O'Day up earlier. They've now got Neftali Phillips getting loose. And Ron Washington said before the game tag, right, that Neftali would be the eighth inning guy.
He's going to be his eighth inning guy, right? Likes his stuff. Recognizes that he's young and still may have some growing pains, but likes his stuff as the eighth inning guy, a dominating guy.
Markham deals a strike.
Good movement. Ball comes in, and watch it. It's going to tail in and down. Right on the inside corner. Not a great pitch to hit.
Nelson Cruz hits it in the air, right center field. That ball takes off to the track, to the wall. Did it! Gone! 3-run home run! Why do you think they called him Little Vlad when he was coming up? As a minor league player, he can go down and get one, too. And one of his heroes growing up, Vlad Guerrero, is a guy that got on base with a single to get this thing rolling.
Well, you got to be strong to reach out for a pitch like that and drive it 390 feet into the bullpen in right center field.
Now Davis will roll one towards third. Second out of the inning, and Nelson Cruz with that big spring training, yes, it has carried over to opening day.
I think if you're Markham, you feel like you just made the perfect pitch. 2 or 3 inches outside, a little bit below the knees, and it just shows how strong today's power hitter is when Nelly Cruz can drive that pitch out of the ballpark. It also shows when you've got a lineup with 7 or 8 guys who can hit the ball 400 feet, you get a walk. First walk by Markham was Josh. Soft line drive for Vladimir, and now you're in position. One swing of the bat, and that's exactly what Nelly was able to do.
And Sean Markham goes from thinking no-no to shouting no-no. As that ball just took off, got up in the jet stream, and went right under the Chicken Express sign.
That chicken was running to get out of the way, too. Look at him. He's still running. He's not going anywhere, though.
You like that sign, don't you?
I didn't even notice it till you just said it.
It's a chicken that looks like it's got somewhere to be.
He's flying.
I'm going to say it. It's poultry in motion.
I'm glad I gave you the opportunity for that one. I kept it alive just long enough.
You set it up, I knock it down. Now we've been doing this for 9 years. Saltalamacchia grounds it towards second. The inning ends, but only after Nelson Cruz went, winner chicken dinner out there in a right center field. First Ranger homer of the year. It ties the score. Back, if we can, at the Jack in the Box standings from 2009. The Rangers, as we've been talking about, some lofty expectations for 2010. That's because they won 87 games a year ago. Only other time they won exactly 87. Well, you got to go back to the 1986 season. And there was a lot of talk about what might happen coming off of that with all the young talent the Rangers had. Had youngsters like Pete Incaviglia and Odabe McDowell. And that team, unfortunately, did not do what it was supposed to do. The Rangers here, again, flush with young talent. Here's some of it. Neftali Police takes over. He and that electric fastball. If indeed adrenaline is in play today, Tag, what is this guy going to throw? 200 miles an hour today?
I'll be looking for 97 or 98. I'll be happy with that.
Off speed at 93. As it's popped out of play by Travis Snider.
Well, you know, there's some talk in spring training. Occasionally when Felice would pitch, it would be 91 or 92, and then eventually he would bump it up to 97 or 96. Then in his last outing, he threw about 8 pitches over 100 miles an hour. It certainly showed that the velocity was there. And I think what Ron Washington and Mike Maddox have said to him is, look, if you're going to be an 8th inning guy, we want you coming in with your best stuff. Don't cruise into it. And don't pace yourself like you might have to do for a starter. But when you come in for the 8th inning, we want you ready to go. And you're out there because of your upper 90s fastball, and that's what we want to see.
It's a fascinating thing that the Rangers have to figure out. Is he the next Pedro Martinez or the next Mariano Rivera? It's a nice problem to solve, but a lot of people think he could excel at either role, be a lights-out closer or be a Pedro-esque starter.
Well, the good part about that is that if that's his choice, he's going to be in good shape, and so are we.
Right. Mike Maddox charged with bringing him along. Well, there's 97. Almost took the arm of Saltalamacchia with it. The Yankees famously instituted the Jabba rules for Jabba Chamberlain so as not to blow him out. The Rangers are on record saying there's no such animal as the Neffy rules. Just good old-fashioned common sense. And as of right now, what Ron Washington figures, he is best suited in the 8th inning. And he gets himself a little 3-3 ball game, thanks to Nelson Cruz. Tried the slider that time. And this is a number 9 hitter. This is Travis Snider, who struck out back in the 5th. Got him. Fastball, why not?
They threw him a couple of off-speed pitches, 1 and 2, and then 2 and 2. He went to 3 and 2, and then it's pretty much fastball, a little bit out of the strike zone. Sure didn't look like it when you look at it. A little bit above the belt, threw it right by him.
He hit triple digits often last year. Often enough that we all started kind of getting disappointed when he would go out there and not do it. That debut game that he had against the Oakland A's, where he struck out the first 4 batters he faced, he was throwing 100 like it was nothing. Premium velocity with minimum effort. This looks like he's playing catch out there, but at 97 miles an hour. And again, Jerry Davis's strike zone is such that you got to earn it. Bautista stepped out, but the pitch counts and it's a walk. We talked earlier, Tag, about Bautista being kind of an unlikely leadoff man. Career on base percentage of .329. He's only got 14 career steals in about 600 games. And now this man who is batting leadoff is on, but again, not really a threat to steal. Aaron Hill to the plate. And Tag, you talked about it earlier, and you're so right. This 2-3-4 part of the order for Toronto, even though the Blue Jays have a lot of other issues, 2-3-4 is not an issue. It all starts with this guy, Aaron Hill.
Yeah, when you're talking about Bautista being their leadoff hitter.
That ball slugged into left. That's trouble. Josh Hamilton's got to go get it. Bautista comes around third. Brian Butterfield, the third base coach, holds him. So it's second and third, one out.
I don't know that the Blue Jays look at Bautista as an ideal leadoff hitter, but when you look at the rest of their lineup, he's probably the only one that they can lead off. They really don't have a leadoff hitter, and he had a big spring training. There's a fastball right down the middle of the plate against a good fastball hitter.
Mike Maddox will go and talk to Neffy Feliz, gather all the infielders as well. So you've got your power pitcher out there. I mean, here's a spot where you need a strikeout, right? Because it's a runner at third and less than 2 out.
Yeah, ideally, that's what you want in there. You want a strikeout pitcher with a chance to get that strikeout. Both Lind and Wells are swinging the bats very well today. Lind has 3 hits. Wells has a couple of hits. It could be a situation where you might think about walking the left-hand hitter to set up a double play, and I guess that's what they're going to try right here.
Yep, you had the lefty Oliver ready in the bullpen, but you can go ahead and walk Lind to get to Wells.
You're in a tough situation, and people will say, man, how can you walk this guy to get to Vernon Wells? He's already got a home run. He's the 4th place hitter. Well, it's not because you want to face Wells. It's because you don't have a choice. I think you feel that Lind is swinging the bat great today. He's a guy last year that hit 35 home runs. There's no force out. It's tough to get the out at the plate. And so now you walk and get the bases loaded, and you hope that you can get a ground ball, maybe turn a double play.
Wells did hit into 18 double plays a year ago, and he did not have a good season overall. He hit .260. And that extension that he signed back in 06 kicks into gear for him this year. He's going from making $1.5 million to $12.5 million this season. So the Blue Jays are praying that he has a better year on the field.
Well, he's had surgery on his wrist, and it's tough enough to hit in the big leagues with a healthy body, but when you've had a bad wrist, it's exceptionally hard to hit. And I think he worked hard this offseason to get himself ready for the season. His wrist feels better, and so I think they're counting on him, and he's feeling pretty good about his chances of having a big year.
Power pitcher against power hitter in a 3-3 game. Vernon Wells steps out smiling. He took a big hack at a fastball up around his shoulders.
There's nothing to look for in that situation other than a fastball. So that was just power versus power. Here it is. See if you can hit it. Big swing and just foul tipped it.
Swings again. Didn't get it. 0-2. In a left field base hit on 0-2. 4-3 Toronto.
Well, I think that's where experience comes in. You know, you've got an experienced hitter and a young pitcher. You're ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. He chased a high fastball the first pitch, and I think he tried to throw him a high fastball. It was almost the same pitch, but after he'd seen a couple of fastballs, maybe you have to elevate it just a little bit more to try to get him to chasing something really high and out of the strike zone.
Vernon Wells, who grew up less than 4 miles from home plate here in Arlington, has now had a 3 RBI afternoon. That's it for Felice. Darren Oliver comes in. We'll come back and reintroduce you to Darren in just a moment. Saturday, following This Week in Baseball at a special time of 2:30 Eastern. That would be 1:30 our time. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. All right, well, Vernon Wells, Arlington's very own, casting a damper on the proceedings. But here's a South Lake resident that's going to try to swing the pendulum back the other way for the Rangers. Darren Oliver in his 3rd go as a Texas Ranger. He's going to inherit the bases loaded.
Well, not an easy situation to say the very least, but you got a veteran guy who throws strikes against a left-hand hitter. And again, you're in a situation where you really want that ground ball, turn a double play, and get out of the inning with only 1 run being scored.
Lyle Overbay is someone that Oliver has faced 16 times. Now, Overbay has 5 hits against him, including 3 doubles. Overbay is a pretty good contact hitter usually, but this is a lefty-lefty situation. Rangers would love to turn 2 right here, keep it 4-3. And again, getting ahead is not the issue. Feliz did that to Wells 0-2, but just couldn't finish him off.
Okay, he threw Wells 3 fastballs, 3 good fastballs. He fouled one off, he missed one, then he threw him the same one that he fouled off on the first pitch. Only after seeing a couple, he was right on it and lined it into left field.
All this following the 3-run home run to right center from Nelson Cruz that tied the game after Sean Markham had taken the no-hitter through 6 1/3. Strike 3, outside corner.
Pretty nice pitching right there. Breaking ball got him to chase it, fouled one off, and caught him looking at a fastball right in the outside corner. That's about as nice a pitch as you can throw right there.
Now the catcher, John Buck. He'll loft one down the left field line. Hamilton in pursuit, but it's going to get into the crowd. And Josh, cognizant now that he's playing a corner position, there's going to be that corner to have to navigate, and he's going to do that carefully. Didn't want to bruise up that body again. It's one thing to go back into the center field wall. He can still go back into the left field wall, of course, but now he's got that corner to deal with, too. That's the first one that has not been a strike from Darren Oliver. You figure Sean Markham is done, Tag? We're going to the Toronto bullpen?
I have to think he is, but his pitch count is very solid right now. But I think after giving up 3, Blue Jays retaking the lead, I would think that they go to their bullpen, but we'll see.
Hamilton coming in. Hamilton's got it, and Oliver cleans up the mess. The Rangers are still right in this thing. Bottom of the 8th coming up, 4-3 Toronto.
Well, here's your bag, here's your shirt, here's your hat. Congratulations. All right, we're going to come back and win this series. Go Rangers! There you go. All right.
Gotta love that guy.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, progressive fan of the game. Ryan Garko is going to pinch hit as we get to the bottom of the 8th inning. Scott Downs is taking over on the mound for Toronto. Garko, by the way, does have a home run off of Downs. That was a couple of years ago. This is actually a very aptly named pitcher. He's a ground ball pitcher of the highest order, and sure enough, his last name is Downs. That's what he does. He keeps it right down at your ankles. You got to golf it if you're going to hit it out.
Well, this is a perfect spot to use Garko. You've got a lefty coming in, a one-run game. I think that's why Ron Washington feels so good about that late spring training acquisition. You've got a veteran hitter, good solid hitter. You need a base runner, you need a run. Got an extra infielder. Great opportunity to use him right here.
Garko pinch hitting for Blanco, meaning Joaquin Arias will have to come in the game to play second, and that one called a strike on appeal down to Brian Knight.
Well, to the naked eye, it didn't look like it went all the way, but you usually defer to the umpires on that one because generally they do go.
Garko lays off this time. He's only been a Ranger for 3 days. Was in camp all spring with the Mariners, waived right at the end of March, scooped up by the Rangers in a hurry. On the ground to short, and picked over there by Gonzalez. Throws out Garko.
He gave a good at bat. He got behind in the count 0-2. Hit a good solid line drive. Unfortunately, nice play by Gonzalez.
So Sean Markham throws 92 pitches, Tag. Throws 7 innings, giving up just the 2 hits. Gave up no hits at all until the 7th inning. The walk, the single, and then the 3-run home run. That's why the Rangers are in the game.
Yeah, pretty much everything he gave up came back to back to back, which was unfortunate for him, but it in no way takes away from the outstanding effort. He had really good stuff today. Opening day as a visiting team, pitching against a strong lineup. Can't say enough about the stuff and the way he went about his job today.
Boy, they're pitching Andrews tough today. He's a strikeout victim twice. Frankie Francisco getting ready in the bullpen, hoping the Rangers can toggle back into the lead here.
The Rangers have an off day tomorrow.
Hot shot third base, and they're going to say that's out right there. Never did hit the deck. 2 up, 2 down, and up comes Bourbon.
So while you may not use Frankie frequently during the season, down by a run in the 9th inning, coming out of spring training, you may give Frankie an inning today, knowing that tomorrow's an off day. A little bit different situation.
Well, the wind's still gusting quite a bit. We now have mostly sunny skies at the ballpark in front of 50,000 plus, 50,299. Complete sellout. And the 8th largest crowd in the history of this ballpark. You mentioned the day off tomorrow. Hopefully a nice crowd turning out for a Wednesday night game. Rich Harden will make his Ranger debut against Brian Talent. Boy, and in a 1-run game, how nice would it be to have Bourbon, just by hook or by crook, find a way to get on here. Test out the throwing arm of John Buck. Give Michael Young a chance up there at the plate. Back to the mound, though, and Downs has got it. The Rangers will have to wait until the 9th inning. See if they can keep coming back against Toronto. It's 4-3 at the end of 8. The ballpark are Fireworks Fridays, and this Friday, $10 tickets, $5 parking available. The Rangers take on the Mariners, followed by that terrific post-game fireworks show. Go to TexasRangers.com, enter Fireworks as the coupon code. Joaquin Arias, indeed, is coming on to play second base. Remember, the Rangers pinch hit for Andres Blanco. And a new pitcher to tell you about, too. Frankie Francisco, indeed, will come in, although there is nothing to close. As you said, Tag, this is a situation where the Rangers have the day off tomorrow. And if you need a fresh arm, why not grab a real good one here?
Yeah, probably at this stage of the season, coming out of spring training, it's probably a day you'd like Frankie to get an inning in anyway.
Edwin Encarnacion, the batter. An old bloop one down the right field line. It is foul. Scott Feldman started, earned that opening day start, and that huge contract he just got signed to as well. 7 innings for Scott today. 5 hits, 2 of them, though, left the yard. And that's why he gave up the 3 runs. He pitched real well as the game went on, really starting in the 4th inning. The Blue Jays were 1 for their final 13 against Feldman. The hard-throwing Neftali Feliz came on to start the 8th and did it with a flourish. He struck out Travis Snider to get going, but then he walked Bautista. Hill pegged a double. Lind was walked. Vernon Wells singled to make it 4-3. Darren Oliver, a little cleanup on aisle 4. Kept it 4-3. Check that last pitch from Frankie Francisco. Boy, right there. A little bit tight, apparently, as is the strike zone of Jerry Davis. But he's been pretty much right on all day, just a little bit outside. Hammered into center field, back goes Bourbon. At the track, and he's got it. John Radigan is standing by. You'll hear from him after the game as well. Hello, JR.
Hello, guys. It's great to be back with you. Love opening day. There's been a lot of drama and a lot of fun so far. We have a new team here assembled for our Rangers Live program. We've got Steve Busby back, and Mark McLemore will be here some games as well. But Jim Sundberg joins us, so we'll be able to talk lots about what happened in this one with Buzz and Sonny right after the game. It's the new team on Rangers Live, guys.
Right on. Thank you, John. Throw it right to you after the game. And what sets up to be maybe a fun show if the Rangers can play along. It's going to be Young, Hamilton, and Guerrero batting in the bottom of the 9th. That all sets up Nelly Cruz, who already has a 3-run home run. Jason Frazier is the closer for Toronto. He's had that responsibility before, and it's gone, well, just okay. Boy, down to get that one is Alex Gonzalez. Just golfs it in the left. And Frankie Francisco, who suffered through 3 trips to the DL last year with a variety of injuries, still led the team with a career-best 25 saves. And obviously, Tag, there's kind of a new world order in that bullpen. C.J. Wilson will not be setting it up anymore. He's in the rotation.
Well, he certainly earned the right to be in the rotation by the way he's pitched in spring training. It does take something away from the bullpen not having him out there. Nice to have Darren Oliver, though. Rangers signed Darren Oliver, and he came in and got out of a bases-loaded 1-out jam.
Got a strikeout and a flyout. And CJ will get the start on Thursday afternoon game against these Toronto Blue Jays. Another lefty, Ricky Romero, will oppose him. Off day tomorrow, and then Wednesday night at Dollar Hot Dog Night, Rich Harden's Ranger debut. Boy, as much as the Rangers did not like seeing Sean Markham's changeup today, they're going to see a real good one from Brian Talent on Wednesday night. He's got the call for the Jays.
I remember he pitched a good game here against the Rangers last year, too.
That one diving in towards Snider. Geared up for the fastball, didn't get it. 2-1. That one popped up towards the crowd. And Travis Snider, who is 0 for 3 so far today, one of their young players. They're going to have to go young. He was supposed to have given Toronto what Adam Lind ended up giving Toronto last year. Left-hand power with a high batting average. Conventional wisdom is if both guys could have that kind of season, Toronto would suddenly become a pretty dangerous team. Ooh, Frankie just missed. Another deep count. On 3-2, runner goes. Good jump. Swing and a miss. And no throw for Saltalamacchia. 2 good a jump. Alex Gonzalez steals the base, but the Rangers get that second out of the inning.
Yeah, that's a good one to hold right there. You know you don't have a chance to throw him out because of the jump that Gonzalez had. Big pitch to get the strikeout. And rather than risk a 1 shot in 10 of getting him and making a bad throw, you might as well hold on to it. Stole that one on Frankie. But the result of the pitch was a strike 3 and 2 outs now. Good start to the at-bat to Bautista with a curveball for strike 1.
Frankie doesn't throw that one a lot, does he?
No, he throws mostly fastballs. Then his 2 off-speed pitches are a splitter, changeup, whatever you want to call it, and that curveball.
So you just kind of show that just to let people know you got it?
Yeah, I think he'll throw enough of them so the hitters are aware that it's part of his repertoire. I think Frankie at his best is a fastball pitcher, but it's nice to have the other 2 pitches when you need them. Change up or split and come right back with it. And if you're a hitter, you have to go up there and think you're going to see a fastball. And Frankie's other pitches are at least solid average, if not a little bit above average. The curveball on the splitter. Nice to have him on days where you don't feel like you've got your best fastball.
Comes back with the heat, and Bautista fouls it. $50,000 people here, hoping that the Rangers can come up with the bottom of the 9th rally on opening day. And now, as they say, it's time. Here we go, bottom 9. Michael Young will lead it off. Hamilton and Guerrero to follow. want some opening day drama, you've got it. It is 4-3 Toronto in the bottom of the ninth. And their closer, who has been kind of a mixed bag in terms of results in the past, is on. Jason Frazier will take to the mound and face a six-time All-Star to get going. Michael Young will lead off. Then you've got Josh Hamilton and Vlad Guerrero. The Rangers have only 2 hits. They were back-to-back in the 7th inning, the last of which was a 3-run homer by Nelly Cruz.
Now, Frazier doesn't have the stature of a closer. He's only about 5'10". But he had a good year for the Blue Jays last year. He was 7-3 at a 2.50 ERA. Saved 11 games. Only gave up 43 hits in 57 innings, which was a 209 opponent's batting average. About a strikeout per inning and not many walks. So statistically, a pretty solid year for Frazier. And to start the season, in a pretty good bullpen, really, when you look at it. Some veteran guys out there. Frazier gets the nod as the closer.
First one's a strike to Michael Young. The Rangers have never had a walk-off win on opening day in this ballpark. They had a couple at the old ballpark. You might remember the Richie Zisk home run against Goose Gossage in '78. Michael Young drills it to the alley in right center field. That ball gets up and short hops the wall. Vernon Wells will play it in. The tying man is on. The winning run to the plate.
Well, Michael took a fastball for strike one. Then got his pitch. Fastball up and out over the plate and drilled it into the gap.
Nobody hammers baseballs to the opposite field like number 10.
I'm going for the call right here, Josh.
I'm going to double down with you, partner.
All right.
Vlad Guerrero's on deck, but Josh Hamilton can win it all right now. And Josh knows there are a lot of people here in Arlington that are banking on him to have the kind of year he's capable of having if the Rangers have any chance at all. He is so prone to want to swing at that first one all the time. That's a great take right there. First base is open. Guerrero's on deck. Well, the man who is all about redemption and overcoming odds. Maybe the right guy to have upright here on an opener that did not have a lot of electricity for 7 innings. The Rangers just were not hitting. One big swing here, though, and you got 50,000 people going bananas. Taken for a called second strike.
Cut fastball. Came back and caught the plate. Good pitch by Markham.
Two. And just some context here, right? Get Michael Young along to third wouldn't be the worst thing ever. Boy, that one was close. Oh, it might have been a strike.
Tractor said it was. It sure looked low to the naked eye, though. You don't see that pitch called a strike very often.
I think all the fans are thinking along with us. You're thinking that Hamilton can be the hero here, but again, just to move the runner to third with only one out, sets it up to where Vlad Guerrero can tie the game with a fly ball.
Yeah, for sure. You'd definitely like to see Josh pull the ball on the ground to the right side or hit a long fly ball at least if you make an out to move that runner. At the same time, I'd love to see him drive a base hit as well.
Taken for a called third strike, and Josh Hamilton will have his say with Jerry Davis.
Now, Frazier threw a pretty good fastball that was called a ball. And we'll take a look at this one to see where this one is. It looks like the exact same pitch. And it pretty well was. You can't see the one before it because that last pitch is the exact same pitch. One was called a ball, one was called a strike. And if you go by the tracker, which we look at the tracker every game, the tracker said it was a strike. You go by your eye, and your eye would have said, boy, that ball sure looked low. Especially when you look where the catcher caught it.
Vlad Guerrero. Will they pitch to Vlad Guerrero? Will they stay away? Will they challenge him? Remember, Vlad does not have a home run as a Ranger yet. He went all spring training without. But if you do put him on, you've got a guy who's already banked a 3-run homer today in Nelly Cruz. That is strike one. Guerrero has never had a hit against Jason Frazier. 0 for 5.
They're trying to throw Vlad in today. In fact, they tried to throw him in so much he was hit by a pitch the first time up.
Finds himself behind 0-2. The inning started with a Michael Young double.
Frazier throwing mostly fastballs. Boy, when you look at the couple of pitches he made to Hamilton, he made 2 great pitches. Didn't get the call on one, got the call on the other one.
8-time All-Star that the Rangers picked up on the cheap in the offseason. And trying to make an overwhelmingly good first impression here with 50,000 people standing up. Ground ball dripping up the middle. Knocked down. Michael Young to third, has to stop. It's runners at the corners for Nelly Cruz.
Well, fortunately for the Blue Jays, it wasn't hit very hard, but that doesn't take away from the beautiful play that Hill made. If that ball goes off his glove and rolls away, the Rangers score. It sneaks up the middle. They obviously score. Well, Vlad topped it up the middle, and you can see Hill comes all the way 5 to 10 feet on the other side of second base to make the play and knock this ball down. That's kind of a desperation play, and it saved the run right there. It saved the game from being a tie game.
It is only the 4th Ranger hit of the afternoon, and it is a play that keeps Toronto ahead.
Talking to Buck Martinez before the game, former big league manager and now a broadcaster for the Blue Jays, and he talked about having a chance to see Hill play a lot in spring training and what a terrific player he is. Not just an offensive player, but how well he plays second base, and there's a great example of it right there.
Nelson Cruz had the 3-run homer his last time up. With 2 on, 1 out here. He'll loop it into right field. Tie ball game. Vlad Guerrero, those big strides, take it into third base. Nelson Cruz, a double.
Well, Nelly's speed and aggressive base running just eliminated the chance of a double play right there. Normally a hitter's just going to stay on first and be glad he tied the game, but Nelly sprinting out of the box, fought that inside fastball off and went all the way to second base. Bautista had no chance to make a play at second base. Now first base is open. There's no double play. The Rangers have tied the game, and Chris has a chance to win it.
Nelson Cruz has driven in all 4 Ranger runs. David Murphy pinch runs now at third. They're going to intentionally walk Chris Davis to set up a double play possibility. Jared Saltalamacchia will have a chance to win the game for the Rangers. And Murphy has a chance to be the guy that slides across or run across and get 50,000 people jumping all around.
A pretty exciting game for our first game of the year. What a game.
We got 161 to go, partner. All we had was a no-hitter into the 7th.
Hey, if they're all like this, I'm going to lose my hair.
Nelson Cruz just doubled. We'll take you back to that home run that he hit to give the Rangers a fighting chance in the 7th inning. Our Coors Light cold blast. Going Chicken Express.
Boy, Frazier made, I think, the pitch he was trying to make right there. He ran his fastball off the plate, in on the fists, and Nelly just fought it off for a little bloop single to right field. Effective hit on a pretty tough pitch.
Infield is in for Toronto. The plays at the plate in a 4-4 game. Salty, who sometimes just tries to do a little bit too much up there. It's again, a situation where if he takes a few out of the zone, the game's over. Soft fly ball somewhere, game's over. Doesn't have to hit the grand slam.
Frazier's he's in trouble, but he's made a lot of good pitches. The one pitch that wasn't a good pitch was the one to Michael Young that he drilled in the gap for a double. He got ahead of Guerrero, gave up the little soft ground ball. Good pitch to Cruz. All we need is a little blooper right here. Outfield is way in. Anything over their head's going to be a sacrifice fly anyway.
Inside. All kinds of credit to Michael Young. The double to ignite this thing. And now the guy who's trying to prove that he should be the Rangers catcher of the future, Saltalamacchia. And it's 2-2 with Joaquin Arias on deck.
Couple of good fastballs, couple of good swings. Fouled them both off.
Little bloop. Chased. Foul.
Almost had a bloop to right and a bloop to left to win this game. And that's tough to get a blooper right now as close as the outfielders are. You'll never see the outfielders play this close unless the game's on the line. And the reason they're in so close is if it's a fairly deep fly ball, it's going to be a sacrifice fly and the game's over anyway. So you move the outfield in as far as you can to where if they catch the ball, they still can throw the guy out at the plate. And what you might do is you might take away a base hit on a line drive because they're playing so shallow. Anything over their head, the game's over anyway.
Saltalamacchia! Ball game! Welcome to 2010! The guy with the longest name has the biggest hit. 2 in the 9th for the Rangers. Nelly Cruz set it all up with a 4 RBI afternoon, and Salty gets credit for winning this thing 5-4.
Well, I think if Frazier goes back, he might, and I don't want to second guess the pitch, but he's thrown all fastballs with good location. Jared had fouled a couple off, and then he threw him something off speed, and it was just what Jared needed to be able to get the head of the bat out. All he's trying to do there is make contact, not drive the ball, just make some contact. We'll take a look at the pitch right here. Guy's going to tag up and score anyway. As it is, it falls in. That'll go for as a base hit and an RBI. And boy, if you're going to win on opening day, what a way to win. Shut down on no hits for most of the game. Nelly Cruz had the big hit the 3-run homer on a pitch that was outside and down, drove it into the bullpen. Rangers go behind again and come back and win it. What a great win on opening day. Doesn't get any better than that.
Rangers were 0 for their first 19 and then 6 for their last 12. And you get that first jump around of the season. Opening day. We go to Jim Knott standing by with one of the heroes right now.
All right, what an opening day it was for Nelly Cruz. 4 runs knocked in. The last, perhaps, your most important run. That one tied the game, Nelly.
Yeah, definitely was a great game, you know. Opening day, we expect to win. I go there and try to put the ball in play, you know.
In a situation like that, is that all you're looking for, just to put the ball in play, just something to drive?
Yes, drive something to the outfield, you know. Was a good shot.
Oh, the congratulatory pie from Elvis. All right, Nelly, congratulations. 4 runs bat in, also get the pie in the face. We'll let you go get cleaned up. Josh, back upstairs.
Youngest guy on the team comes running out there with a shaving cream pie.
I don't think he's played long enough to give Nelly that pie, but, you know, that's what they have, good chemistry.